Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
With more heat and humidity, we've got the ingredients we need for a stormy evening. Some areas have already been dealing with storms. So let's get the latest from Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson on a first alert weather day. Hutch?
Today is a Valley News Live weather alert day.
Yes, we are starting out right away with a severe thunderstorm warning. This one taking place along a boundary that's kind of left over from the activity you see moving up south of Winnipeg. For the Marshall County area, it's swiftly moving into the southeastern corner of Kitson County and will be moving along the Highway 11 corridor in Roseau County shortly. The main threat from this storm right now is a lot of lightning, very heavy rain, and hail upwards of 1 inch to 1.5 inches in diameter. It's moving to the northeast at a clip of 35 miles per hour. We'll put it in Carlstad by 5 o'clock, Greenbush by 5:28, and on towards Badger by 5:45. Now, slicing and dicing this storm up just a little bit. The updrafts today, because of the heat and humidity in the area, are going to be quite intense, allowing for the development of some sizable hail as we go through the evening hours. So we're going to keep our eyes on that. This is the only piece of business in town right now. We do have some development out south of Jamestown. We're going to watch everything very closely because we have a cool front that is going to be making its way through the region as we go through the evening. This is going to trigger some very stout thunderstorm development, and we do have that risk for severe weather tonight. Now, here's a look at those risks as we've been penciling throughout the late part of the week here, or the early part of the week, and we're expecting the potential for hail upwards of 2 inches in diameter tonight anywhere you see the yellow. Isolated tornadoes cannot be ruled out, and also we have that damaging wind threat as well. Now, because it's a slow-moving cold front, we're going to have rain that could be very repetitive, thunderstorms going over the same path as the one before it, and that could cause some localized flooding as well. So, Andrea, it could be a very long night. Make sure that if storms approach your area, you check in with us. We'll let you know if it's going to be severe or not and keep you up to date with the latest and have your full forecast here in a moment.
All right. Thanks, Hutch. Authorities in Fargo are now releasing documents following an investigation into the conduct of former Fargo Police Deputy Chief Todd Osmundson. The investigation found no member of the Fargo Police Department was aware Osmundson was acting undercover during a recent protest. The Fargo Police Department did not authorize Osmundson to act the way he did, and Osmundson's actions created significant risk to the public, himself, and other officers. Osmundson was then placed on an unpaid suspension and resigned that same day. We'll have more on this story tonight on Valley News Live at 6. Makeshift weapons and a knife are believed to be involved in a disturbance with multiple people in Moorhead. At 3:30 this morning, officers responded to the 100 block of 16th Street South for a disturbance. The initial call to police stated there were guns involved in the incident, but an investigation later determined there were no guns used, but several people were fighting and using makeshift weapons and a knife. Officials say one person needed medical attention. At this time, no one is in custody. The Devils Lake Police Department is warning the community about fake prescription drugs laced with fentanyl that have caused overdose deaths recently. Authorities say the fake pills are made to look like 30-milligram Percocet or OxyContin pills. The pills have an M and a 30 mg engraved on them. Authorities say other towns across the Midwest are reporting the same problems. Police did not say exactly how many people have died from the drugs. They're also sending a reminder about Good Samaritan laws. You will not get in trouble if someone you know is overdosing and you call for help. A 56-year-old woman from Texas was sent to the hospital today after troopers say she was rear-ended while driving southbound on I-29. The North Dakota Highway Patrol says 21-year-old Alexandra Jacobson of Fargo rear-ended the woman while she was also driving on I-29. Charges against Jacobson are under investigation. The woman in the other vehicle is expected to be okay. Authorities have released the name of the 50-year-old man who died after a wall of canola fell on top of him inside a grain bin. The Walsh County Sheriff's Office is identifying the man as Thomas Shurek of Park River, North Dakota. The incident happened Monday afternoon just south of Adams. Authorities say 4 different fire departments responded to the scene to help pull the victim out of the grain bin. UK researchers say they have discovered the first drug to dramatically reduce death in the sickest COVID-19 patients, and it's already widely available. CBS's Ian Lee has more.
Catherine Milbank's life was hanging on by a thread with COVID-19. Doctors had her on a ventilator when her husband gave consent for her to participate in an Oxford University trial, testing an experimental treatment for severe coronavirus.
And I said, well, that's fine. I said, I'm grateful the fact that she's got that opportunity, or we've got that opportunity. So, yeah, I feel probably I did feel a little bit lucky, if I'm honest.
She was given dexamethasone, a low-dose steroid commonly used to treat inflammation in arthritis and asthma patients. Researchers believe dexamethasone can stop the immune system from overreacting to the coronavirus in some hospitalized patients with severe symptoms.
Our jaws dropped when we saw the result. It's really a big result.
They found the drug saves one life for every 8 patients on a ventilator and 1 for every 25 patients on oxygen.
So if we'd known this 4 or 5 months ago, we would have saved tens of thousands of lives, probably.
The drug has been around for decades, and it's widely available in pharmacies in the UK and US, and the treatment costs around $8. Scientists say this drug may be one tool to help the sickest COVID patients. Catherine Milbank says it helped her recover.
I'm just eternally grateful and will be for the rest of my life.
But experts caution more research is needed, as these study results have not yet been reviewed or published. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
Researchers found that the treatment was not helpful for people who were not on respiratory support. State health officials are confirming 42 new cases of COVID-19 across North Dakota. They say 17 of those cases are in Cass County. No new deaths have been linked to the disease, meaning the death toll still sits at 74. 25 patients are currently in the hospital, while over 2,700 are listed as recovered. In Minnesota, the state health department is reporting 419 new cases, along with 12 more deaths linked to the virus. This brings the death toll in the state to 1,325. Of those deaths, 1,051 happened in a long-term care facility. The state is reporting 419 new cases, bringing the active case count to 2,567. Over 27,000 people have recovered. The U.S. Senate passes the Great American Outdoors Act, which will help fund maintenance at national parks. The bill passed by a vote of 73 to 25. It will permanently authorize annual funding to the Land and Water Conservation Fund. A total of $1.9 billion will be set aside every year for 5 years. The bill heads to the House of Representatives for consideration. Senate Republicans unveiled their proposal for police reform legislation today, a day after President Trump released his own plan. They've already rejected a package that House Democrats are pushing. Now the two sides are trying to reach a deal before the July 4th holiday break. Alice Barr is in Washington with the latest.
On Capitol Hill, a race to pass police reform legislation and a struggle to find common ground. Senate Republicans rolling out their package today, setting up a showdown with House Democrats seeking more sweeping systemic changes. The Senate's lone black Republican Tim Scott of South Carolina taking the lead in his chamber.
I've told my story several times, stopped 7 times in 1 year. This issue continues, and that's why it's so important for us to say that we hear you. We're listening to your concerns.
But Democrats say the Senate proposal doesn't go far enough. Where the House bill bans chokeholds outright, the Senate version instead restricts funding to departments that continue the controversial practice. It requires police agencies to track data on use of force and share misconduct reports if an officer moves to another department. But it does not include a national database of officer complaints and makes no changes to the qualified immunity that often shields officers from personal liability. Ending that protection and holding officers accountable is a centerpiece of the House bill.
The last thing in the world we need to do is to do something that is symbolic, that has no teeth.
President Trump revealed his own plan yesterday that urges departments to adopt higher standards for use of force. It came after he met with families of African Americans killed by police. The family's attorney says lawmakers and the president need to focus on systemic racism.
Embedded in each one of these tragedies is a failure, not only from a police officer, but from the system.
Congress on a tight timeline trying to fix problems that have plagued this country for generations.
The president's spokeswoman says the White House fully supports the Senate Republican bill and called House efforts to end qualified immunity a non-starter, saying that wouldn't allow officers to do their jobs. Still ahead tonight, another city follows Washington, D.C.'s lead in making a statement on the streets.
Very windy and very warm once again. High temperatures not far from triple digits in Fargo. 97 with winds gusting over 40 miles per hour. Severe thunderstorms rumbling through northwest Minnesota. Likely more of us will see strong storms tonight. I'll have the very latest coming up right after this.